Okay, guys, welcome to the Thanksgiving Day or Thanksgiving packet videos. This is going to be over page 5, which is the exponent rules. I'm probably going to do most of these with you because I do feel like we need to do a little bit of extra practice with these, and we'll be still working on this when we get back. So, let's get started. Okay, number 1. And I think we should have enough room to do most of these on the paper, unless you write super big. Okay, these rules say, simplify. Your answer should contain only positive exponents. So we have to be careful with that. All right, let's go ahead and look at number 1. This is a multiplication. So if you are one of the people who likes to use MADS PM, you can. That just means that when multiplying, you add the exponents. That's what the M and the A stands for. Multiplying, add. Divide, subtract the exponents, parentheses, multiply the exponents. So this is multiplication, so we know we're going to add these exponents. Let's do our windows first. We got 2m squared times 2m squared. We've got 4 bases here. We've got 2 2's and then 2 m's. So with the 2's, we can just multiply those. They're regular numbers, so you can just do 2 times 2. And that's 4. Now m to the second power times n to the third power. This is 2 m's here, m times m, right? And then over here, that's m times m times m to the third power. So together, you have 5 m's that are being multiplied together. So you just write m to the 5th power. Okay, you can just add the exponents when you're multiplying, and it has the same base. That's number 1. Okay, number 2. We have m to the 4th power times 2m to the power of negative 3. Okay, so there's nothing for the 2 to get multiplied with, so it just stays at 2. And then we have m to the 4th power times m to the power of negative 3. You actually need to add the exponents like we did on the last one. So do 4 plus negative 3, and that is 1. So the answer is just 2m to the 1st power. So you don't have to write the 1 there. It's just 2m. It's invisible 1 exponent. Okay, number 3. Go ahead and do windows. Window on the 4, window on the R, window on the 2, and window on the other R. Okay, let's multiply the numbers. 4 times 2, that's 8. And add the exponents. We have R, so negative 3 plus 2 is negative 1. Now, your answer cannot have negative exponents. So when you have a negative exponent, you need to make a fraction. Okay, do your windows again. The negative exponent needs to become positive, and the only way to make it positive is to put it on the other side of the fraction. So right now, what you have is 8r to the power of negative 1 over 1. Like, that's how you would make it a fraction. So we're going to have to move it to the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite that over here. I'm going to put r to the power of negative 1 on the bottom. That's how you make it positive. So it becomes positive when you put it on the other side. Now the 8 does not have a negative exponent, so the 8 gets to stay where it's at. Just like that. So it's 8. I'm going to write it neater over here. 8 over r. The exponent of 1 does not need to be written. Okay, number 4. Windows. On the 4, and the n, and the 2, and the n. Go ahead and multiply the digits. 4 times 2, that's 8. And then add the exponents. 4 plus negative 3 is 1, so it's 8n. Okay, number 5. Windows on the 2, on the k, on the 4, and on the k. Now remember, this k over here on the right, it does have an exponent of 1. You cannot forget that when you're doing it, okay? So multiply. 2 times 4 is 8. And then k to the 4th power times k to the 1st power is k to the 5th power. Okay, now they've thrown another letter in here. So you do it the same way. Window, 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 window. Okay, we're still going to multiply the numbers together. 2 times 2 is 4. Now, for when you're adding the exponents, you can't just add, 3 plus negative 3 plus negative 1 plus 3. It has to have the same base for you to be able to do that. So this has a base of x. So I can add x to the third power with x to the power of negative 1. So those are the exponents that I could add because they both have the same base. They both have a base of x. So it'll become x and then do 3 plus negative 1, and that's 2. Alright, and then y can go with y. So y to the power of negative 3, and then y to the third power. So when you add negative 3 plus 3, you get 0. Now, anything raised to the power of 0 is always equal to 1. So that is actually going to become a 1. So you write it like this. It's just 4x squared. This guy disappears. Okay. Windows. Alright, so we're going to multiply the numbers. 2 times 3 is 6. And then, wait a minute, these don't have the same base. In fact, there's nothing there's no other y's and there's no other x's. So you can't do anything except write them next to each other. So we have an x, can't go with anybody, and then your y can't go with anybody either, so you just write it like that. That's all you can do. Okay, number 8. Windows. Okay, so 4 times 1, really, it's just 4. And then you have a v to the third power times v to the first power. So that becomes v to the fourth power, 3 plus 1. And then u is all alone, doesn't have anybody to go with, so it stays u to the second power. Okay, Windows. Alright, so let's go ahead and do 4 times 3. It's 12, and then a to the third power times a to the power of negative 4 is a, add the exponents, and you get negative 1. Same thing for b. 2 plus negative 3 is also negative 1. So you know for sure you're going to have to make a fraction, and you're going to have to put these guys on the bottom of the fraction. So go ahead and do that. Both of them are going to go on the bottom. So that's how they become positive. The 12 does not have a negative exponent, so he gets to stay here. And that's your answer. Don't have to write those exponents if it's 1. Okay? Okay, look for like bases. You have x to the second power and x to the third power. That's x to the fifth power. Y to the power of negative 4 times y to the second power. Add the exponents, and you get negative 2. You can't have a negative, so you need to make it a fraction and put this whole base and exponent on the bottom. Make it positive. Make it a positive 2. And then this stays on the top because it has a positive exponent. Okay, number 11. Anything raised to the power of 0 is automatically 1. Yes, now we are moving into where they have parentheses, so you need to multiply the exponents. Let's go. Now remember, this 2 does not get left out. It also has an exponent that needs to get multiplied by -4. You have to multiply the exponent for both bases. So -4 times 1 is -4, so you get 2 to the power of -4. And then for x, you do 2 times -4, which is -8. Ooh, I got 2 negative exponents here, so I definitely need to make a fraction. I'm going to write it over here. Okay. Both of these have negative exponents, so I need to put them both on the bottom. That's how they're going to become positive. So 2 to the 4th, positive. X to the 8th, positive. There's nothing left on the top, so I can just write a 1 here so it doesn't look lonely or weird. And then 2 to the 4th power, that's 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. Let's see what that is. 2 exponent 4, 16. So I'm going to change that to a 16. Okay, 13. Remember to multiply the exponents, so the 4, don't forget about him. It's 4 to the 1st power, so that becomes 4 to the 4th power. And then r, 0 times 4 is 0, so that's actually going to become 1. And you just have 4 to the 4th power, which is 4 exponent 4, 256. Okay, again, multiply the exponents, so that becomes 4 to the 2nd, a to the 6th. 4 to the 2nd power is 16, so you need to write it like that. Okay, multiply the exponents, so that becomes 3 to the 4th, k to the 16th. 3 to the 4th power is 3 exponent 4, 81. So it's 81 k to the 16th power. Okay. This one. These all have an exponent of 1. So you need to multiply each base by each exponent by -1. So you get 4 to the -1, x to the -1, y to the -1, and just like we did on the one above it, we're going to have to put all these in a fraction. So we're going to have to put them on the bottom. So that's how you make them positive. So that becomes positive on the bottom. This exponent becomes positive on the bottom. And this exponent becomes positive on the bottom. You can just leave a 1 at the top. And that is your answer. I'm going to erase the positive ones on the exponents. And there you go. Alright guys, I hope this was helpful. I will see you when we get back.